Hello, my name is Katie Stewart with Tandem HR, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Ask the HR Expert. So today's question has to do with sexual harassment training. So people are asking, in today's workforce climate and how it's changing and everything we're hearing about in social media and in the media in general regarding sexual harassment, what should we be doing differently with our training of our employees and managers? So I would like to first address the topic of underreporting. So statistics-wise, individuals, only about 30% of them that actually experience some form of sexual harassment in the workplace report that to someone in management, a union rep, a supervisor, someone in authority at the organization. So that means 70% of individuals are still not reporting this to anyone within the organization. So our current training programs aren't cutting it. They're great in terms of providing the basics for individuals. So what is the definition of harassment? What do we do if we feel that we've been harassed or someone we know has been harassed? Who do we report that to? What does the law say about this and our company policy? But it's not really getting to the root of the problem and preventing sexual harassment in the workplace. So what I am suggesting we do is we take a different approach. Instead of being reactive about the sexual harassment that's occurring in the workplace, we start being proactive. So we need to focus on changing the cultural mindset of our employees. So what I would like to introduce is called Bystander Intervention training. So some of you may have heard of this before. It has been long used for preventing sexual violence crimes. So in nonprofit organizations, universities, schools, things of that sort, and has been very successful. So a lot of research right now, or scholars are talking about how we can take this same concept and introduce it in the workplace now for prevention of sexual harassment. So the most important thing about this is it disseminates the responsibility of ridding the workplace of sexual harassment and this type of misconduct to all employees in the workplace. So obviously, in order to do that, we need to give all of our employees the tools to intervene and to feel safe and prepared to intervene in any of these situations. So there's 4 Ds that I would like to talk about in terms of bystander intervention. So direct, distract, delegate, and document. So direct means that you will directly intervene, and there's 3 different types of ways that you can do this. So one would be is you can walk right up and interrupt the situation that is occurring and call out the situation directly. Now that can be a little scary for some individuals, and there's some steps of precaution that you definitely need to take to make sure that approach is okay. The next would be right after the situation occurs, either directly go address the situation with the potential harasser or the victim. The second step of distract is if the situation that is occurring is not one that you feel comfortable directly calling out, then make a distraction to stop the situation. So spill your cup of coffee, interrupt by asking a question, whatever feels appropriate and most natural in that situation. And then after that, you could possibly choose to go then directly address the situation with one of the individuals. The third approach is delegate. So delegate to someone of authority within the organization that has the power to do something about the situation. So this could mean a direct supervisor, any member of management in the organization, or human resources. So these are the types of situations that human resource professionals are prepared to handle, to investigate the situation, to have those challenging, difficult conversations, and hopefully to prevent this from happening in the future. And the last D is document. So the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, the how. Now, this doesn't mean that you're trying to create a file in order to get someone in trouble, but we all know that if we're asked specific questions about a situation, it's really hard to come up with those details. If you were to ask me what I had for lunch last Tuesday, I would have no idea. So if you witness something, documenting the situation, writing it all down, and then going up to the victim and saying, hey, I witnessed this situation. I took notes on what I saw. Would you like me to turn this into human resources? Would you like me to turn this over to you? Is there anything I can do to support you throughout this situation? A couple other tips would be to make sure that we're training our employees seriously and often. So in the past, it's been pretty typical to train about once every 2 years, except in some states that do require it more often. But I would recommend that we do some form of training every year. So if we do our traditional training 1 year, then maybe we do our bystander training the opposite year, so that we're getting out in front of our employees more often. The second would be to promote more women. And I'm not just saying that as my own personal opinion. Harvard Business Review has continuously found that organizations that have women in leadership positions more naturally have less sexual harassment occur in the workplace. So just take a look at the individuals in your workplace and how you are picking individuals that should be promoted within the workplace, and put a plan in place to promote those high performers that are females. And then finally, make sure that we're really encouraging employees to report, and look at expanding your options of who they can report to. A lot of policies I see, it says report to the CEO, report to your own manager, report to HR. What if an individual is not comfortable reporting to any of those people? So consider some people in the organization that people really trust, they're comfortable talking to, train them up, give them the tools to be able to handle something and to know what to do if something is reported to them, and then allow individuals to report to that person. Well, I hope you learned a few tips today and will consider implementing bystander intervention training into your workplace. And thank you for joining me with Ask the HR Expert.